welcome back, Hunters. I'm the Survivalist, and we return Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate, where this is probably going to be a little bit of a mixed week of the builds we'll be using. I think I first want to start us off with the last element that we haven't done a build for yet, which is going to be our freezing build. And we'll actually probably be switching between two light bowguns for this week, because I think there's like a couple of light bowguns that can kind of hold the title as your best freezing ones, and neither of them are actually deviant light bowguns. The first one is the Tabular Blizzard, which if you guys might recognize already is from Brachydios with the big orange tusks and or I should say fangs, and the coloration of the frame there. But this one offers you Pierce 1, Rapid Fire, Freeze 2, Rapid Fire, and Pierce Freeze 2, which it does build up to be a pretty potent bowgun with those combinations, but there's another one that I think might do a little bit better when it comes to like the actual full-blown using freeze as like your main focus. I do apologize, first recording session of today, trying to get the brain warmed up in that. But yeah, we're going to take that out for a couple of pretty monsters that are pretty weak to freezing. So let's just talk to the bartender and get our quest right away. So we're still in G3. I think we're going to start off with actually going for an Astalos, and then maybe we'll go after Zinogre, because there's a bit of an interesting trend, Monster Hunter, that certain element monsters are generally weak to a certain type of element. Like, quite a number of thunder monsters are weak to freeze. I think quite a few... Well, general fire monsters are weak to water, thunder are weak to freeze, thunder or water are weak to thunder. It's like a little bit of almost like a circle in a way, but yeah, we'll go after Zinogre in the Rune Pinnacle. We should be good with all of our equipment there, so let's just head out right to the hunt and get things started before I flub up more of this intro and opening. But it does feel like there's a lot of a weird sway on like what light bowguns are really potent element ones. Like, sure, we've seen a number of them that use, like, say, rapid fire of maybe just, like, one kind of the elemental ammo, but it's pretty rare to have it that we encounter something that is weakest to multiple. Or, like, I should say the light bowgun has, like, multiple ways to rapid fire that one type of element. Like, I'm trying to think of the builds we've done. Dragon, we had Dragon 1 and 2 rapid fire with the Valstrax light bowgun. We had... I'm trying to think of what else. When it came to water, water had, rapid fire water and pierce, or... I've just been piercing water now that I think about it. Just trying to remember where we have to go to find Zinogre to start with. I actually think I was in the right area for it, but I took the wrong direction. The Rune Pinnacle still kind of throws me for a loop here or there, just because of how you have... complete, like, hard you don't go to certain spots from certain areas. I think he might be in the cave up here. Or it might be. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, good old classic Zinogre. Let's just get the recoil reduction, because we might need it since these are level 2 of the elements. And we'll start with just a regular freeze until we do get... Okay, that was kind of dumb to get hit by, but... Again, we're warming up, we'll try to get better. Nope, careful. And I think he's going to try doing a little bit of charge up. Yeah. Yeah, with we really could use the recoil reduction in, getting the Valor state active. Now, I also have to remember, I'm using Valor mode. I don't need to worry about trying to evade. I can just use the counter. I think that's the biggest thing that always screws me up, and I take more damage than I really need to when it does come to using Valor, is changing the way of thinking instead of dodging just to... God, even with the level, like the 2 reduction in that, we still take a while before that. Before the recoil has fully worn off on us. Oh, but there's a nice part break. We can kind of delay the charge for a little while against Zinogre, but he's going to eventually get the build-up and go into his amped up state in a little bit. Yeah, I think he'll probably try charging after this. When he's in this state, he really wants to get fully charged to go into this mode. And this is where we've got to be more careful. Like, I should actually get a little bit more healing on ourselves just to stay safe. Ooh. Yeah, the Tabular Blizzard is pretty good for, like, the damage it has, but it has a really high recoil when you are using the level 2 internal rapid fire. As we felt there. It's one of the reasons why, for quite a number of the bowguns, I sometimes prefer going with the silencer compared to the long barrel. Long barrel will help you get faster downtimes because of the just straight damage bonus, but... God... Like, unless it seems to be straightforward, I just am not reading that right. Okay, you know what? We'll take the shove into the next area. But we'll try getting through the Freeze 2 first, then maybe I'll switch over to Piercing Shot. Maybe I can use that to knock him out of the charge state. Yeah, I gotta be careful of that. Okay, I think he... Yeah, it looks like he's leaving the area, so we're going to get a little bit of an opening to try to get some of the last shots in ahead. But that's kind of the trade-off, is... If you use the long barrel, you have the full recoil the weapon generally has, but I think it's like plus 10, plus 15 damage. And the silencer mostly just gives you the reduction to recoil. I don't know if there's actually, like, the monster targets you less using the silencer or not. Yeah, you know, I'm just going to use that for getting out of that a little bit easier. Nope. Yeah, let's see. Okay, as long as you focus on them for a little bit. Nope. Yeah, again, just gotta get back into the sway of block rather than dodge. Ah, darn it. So those little bugs are getting me more so than anything. And I messed up the Valor reload there. Okay, I think I am going to take another withdrawal just to get ourselves healed up better. Let's see, I'm already going through all of my Mega Potions. Okay, there we go. Footing's back, so we should be able to be a little bit better for this. Uh-oh. Yeah, now that we're back to Pierce 1, we have... Recoil is much better, so we don't have to worry about being, like, as slowed down from our hang-up. There we go. And with that, we're going to switch back to switch to Pierce Freeze. Because in this mode, we'll have a lot better time dealing with his attacks, as well as the... Well, thought we would have a bit better time. Another part break. Yeah, I think Zinogre has... Okay, thankful... Oh, that Thunderbug almost screwed that up pretty bad for us to get hit. Again, I still do hate the old games where the small monsters basically have no preservation instinct and fight you rather than, like, just avoid the conflict. But we've got a little bit of Pierce Freeze left, so we'll just keep shooting these in. And keep trying to get rid of his stamina a little bit more with our side shots. Yeah, with how we kind of got tucked against the wall there, thought we'd probably get on play defensive. Okay, and that's all those out. We do have the Pierce Freeze level 1, but I might just save... Actually, maybe we'll start using those sooner. Nope. See, I have no idea where he's going from here. I don't know if he's hopping back into, like, the cave system we were just in, so I'm going to try there first. But if not, he might be going to the big plateau area. No, not here. I really gotta remember to start packing the paint shots just to help us out for tracking them down. But Zinogre is a really combo-heavy monster, but once you learn the combos and know what to watch out for, it becomes a really nice and fun back and forth. And the theme that he has is fantastic, too, to go with that. And I think we just want to pop over here. And maybe we'll see Zinogre here. No? Huh. I'm actually not sure where to go looking for it now. The only thing I can think of is maybe we'll just carry through here and maybe it went up? That's again the problem I have with the Rune Pinnacle, is like to check old areas and circle. There it is. Do the circle around of seeing like which zone it might be in. You kind of have to like do full around circles sometimes. And he's up and in enraged state. Okay, thankfully that worked. I wasn't sure if it would because I thought maybe that attack would be more behind us. But I think I'll actually switch back to Pierce 1s until we get the double recoil reduction. Because we're still getting a fair bit of recoil on just even the single shot of level 1. And I do know about the, if you knock Zinogre over, I don't think it has to be in his, like, charged state like this or not, but you can actually use a bug net and catch, like, the Fulgur bugs off his back. Because how Zinogre actually operates is, he doesn't generate the lightning himself, I don't believe. It's actually a symbiotic relationship that there are insects that nest in the fur and in, like, the, Uh-oh. Okay, thankfully that did count. That kind of, like, nest in the spikes or the backside of the spikes, and they're what generate all the electricity it uses. So it doesn't generate itself, but it is able to kind of, like, harness and direct that electricity. That's also how you have its subspecies, the Stygian Zinogre, that uses... I'm trying to remember what Dracophage bugs I think they were called? Basically, different kind of bug, different element that harnesses. And you know what, just to try to get a little bit closer to get the critical distance for our piercing shots. And he's in the enraged and amped up state already, so that might be a sign that we're starting to get through its health at a fair rate. Usually, the more often the monster enrages, the closer you're getting to them being, like, weak and limping. Also means they are getting more and more dangerous, but we'll take the better with the worse. Now, yeah, see, I'm too far behind for the crit distance there. That's one thing I will also praise World Iceborne, Sunbreak, and Rise for, is became it much easier to know what your distancing was when using the light, or I should say both bowguns, not just the light. No, I'm actually surprised it can combo with it being in the uncharged. Nope. Knocked over. And yeah, I'll just work through that. Zinogre, I'd probably say, is probably a monster that you might actually want to go element more so if you're going to farm it than, like, just pure raw. Because, again, with the ice weakness it has, it's pretty easy getting it back and forth out of the charge states when it enrages. I probably should be saving the absolute readinesses more so for, like, get out of jail or defensive maneuvers. But at least until Zinogre does pop into its higher state, it serves more as, like, a shooting target for us. Oh, and he is limping. At least I think he is. Kind of surprised that it didn't try leaping off with that animation seemed to do. Normally when a monster is at, like, yeah, there we go. When it's at this point where it's limping, it's usually the sign that's trying to leave the area and go to a nest to sleep, and that heals some of its HP up. But now I've got to figure out where he might even be going. I think we actually want to go down and into the cave where we first encountered Zinogre. I don't think it's going straight up to the wyvern nest where it sometimes goes to. It seems like only... I'm trying to think of how many, like, Elder Dragons you fight in the Rune Pinnacle. I think only, like, the Elder Dragons go all the way up to the very top of the map. Like, the very peak of the pinnacle. Oh, wow. Okay, that was a quicker end than I thought there. But yeah, most of the Flying Wyverns, I think, go to the nest just above the full summit, and anything else comes here to sleep. Although, there's also an area I think Leviathan-type monsters go to. Okay, that's all harvested. Yeah, so like Fanged Wyverns, I think, come here. Flying Wyverns go up to the nest. And I think this is where Leviathans and, like, the crabs come to sleep. There's kind of nests all over the map, and you just kind of have to roam around and figure out the pattern a bit. But that was Zinogre. Again, it's a combo-heavy monster. If you can read it pretty well, you're going to be just fine evading, dodging, dealing with it. And it does have that nice back and forth. I think Monster Hunter excels at when it goes heavy into that. In that case of reading monster openings, knowing when to get your chance and striking with it, pretty good. But we'll head back towards the hub, or the pub. I mean, it's the pub hub. Go there, switch out light bowgun, restock any ammo and supplies, and then go out for Astalos next. Another monster that... it's kind of weak to frost, or freezing as an element, but I might have actually wanted to... Actually, it's hard to say. I'll have to do a check once we switch things over. Send those off. And I think that's good for there. Yeah, I'll sell those. They're all kind of junk anyway. Astalos, I know, has some elemental weakness, but I don't think he's as susceptible to it as Zinogre can be. But we'll get down here, quickly swap the light bowgun out, because one nice thing is if you do have a weapon with no decoration slots, you don't have to change up your loadout all that much. So we want the Jowl Crusher, which is actually Zamtrios' light bowgun. which I think is a new addition Monster Hunter Generations gave to him. But all we'll do is fill up the rest of the Mega Potions. And let me just double check. I think this is using the long barrel. Yeah. So this one has a rapid fire of, I believe it's both piercing freezes. Yeah. And does have freeze capacity as well, like level 2 in it. Again, for whatever reason, it seems like the freezing light bowguns lean much more heavily into using them for their full element capacity compared to, like, say, thunder or the water or even the fire. We'll try that and see if we can get Tempers again. No. No, we just got Cool Cat, so it doesn't really help us there. Okay, but we should be set. And this is where I gotta be very careful about... maybe not too careful about... I just want to see. We were in the Rune Pinnacle. Is there another one for Astalos somewhere else? Yeah, we'll go to the Marshlands, because actually, I don't think we've really gone after many monsters in the Marshlands. I think it was just Brachydios. Yeah, we'll head out, go after this one, and then we'll bring this episode to a close. I don't think it'll be too long of a hunt with using this light bowgun. But we'll have to see what it is like for the recoil on it. But I do love the design, basically like this little shark you're grabbing and using as your weapon. Again, I love when Monster Hunter makes the weapons... You really see the monster encapsulated in the weapon. Like, say, for Glavnus' greatsword, it looks like its tail. For Zamtros' light bowgun here, it looks like a little shark with the jaws and everything. That's where I really like the design of Monster Hunter stuff. And yeah, thankfully, it looks like we have a... At least with the Pierce Freezing 1, we have a nice reduction to the recoil compared to the Tabula Blizzard. Going to do that, because, yeah, that attack, with how I was getting caught by the Thunder Bugs on Zinogre there, or the Fulgur Bugs, I think they're called proper. I want to be mindful, because Astalos is another one whose attacks can be a little bit strange for how they come out. And I've completely, like, blanked on what I think I was talking about last week of, like, wanting to try to get better using the, small reticle compared to scoping in. Oh, that was close. Yeah, one thing about Astalos is... in some ways, it's like a combo-breaking monster. Whereas, like, say if I was using Adept, and because of the animation lock times that the Adept style has to itself, there's a fair chance that you might get caught by some of its attacks there. More so on Bolt Reaver, however, I think it's like the anti-Adept style monster. Because I remember I had a lot of trouble trying to go after them, and getting hit like by every combo it did. Ooh. We'll just be cautious and keep working our way. I think as a gunner, you want to aim mostly for getting Astalos by its wings. Oh, let's get out of that. Yeah, it's like a little shock nova it can do. But Astalos, I think, is one of the monsters where it's a little hard to know what the weak spot is. There are certain monsters where it's like the... Oh, I should have been paying better attention there. The elemental weak spot is the same as, like, its raw weak spot. But other ones, they are different parts to go aiming for. Now let's get out from under that. Now I was talking about, like, the combos it can do. That's where you see it can get you with that. I think if you actually don't do any inputs for, if you use the Valor style, you're actually safer than you would be moving early. There we go. So the key to Astalos is going after the glowing parts that he gets when they're charged up. Because when they're not powered, he doesn't use the same attacks out of them. And he does drop the shinies too, which is also a nice reward. Yeah, I probably shouldn't go for those because I don't need materials. I just got greedy. Oh, thank you, Almond. It's a little something, not a lot, but... Yeah, so now you can see with the wings charged up, he did the double slam. When they are just, like, non-charged, I think he can only do them once. Ah, the frickin' Vespoids, though. Talk about one of Monster Hunter's enduring annoyances. Oh, okay, there's the tail decharged. And actually, we're still on just Pierce Freezing 1. I'm a bit surprised at that. No, I think the subquest was to take out Vespoids, and I think Astalos actually did that for us. But I think we have a pretty high capacity of ammo for the Pierce Freezings compared to the Tabula Blizzard or Gravios. Yeah, dodge through him. And then there's the other slam. Avoid that. Or counter that. Okay, now we'll see how Pierce Freeze 2 is for its recoil. And this is where I think I'm going to have to be pretty careful. Oh, and here. Yeah, avoid that. That's basically a guaranteed paralysis if it connects to you. Okay, we'll snag the shiny. Well, actually, maybe snag both if we can. And yeah, at least on the marshlands, it's pretty easy to follow where the monster's going here. This map is pretty laid out linearly, so any direction you see it going off to, it's generally heading straight to that other area. So we'll go up here, and that should take us right down to it. Yeah, there it is. Get out of the way of that. Okay, definitely wanted to do that. Okay, the recoil is quite a bit, but it does seem like it's making up for it because of the sheer power that we got now with this. I think in exchange for... We might even compare the two light bowguns when we get back to the pub if we have a little bit of time. But I think the Jowl Crusher gives you a little more raw for no affinity. And what that means is basically you won't get critical hits. But that doesn't matter too much because elemental shots, unless you have the, like, a crit element skill, you can't get them anyway. Oh, that got me. Yeah, come on in. Slam, slam, bam, wham. And we'll keep peppering you with a little bit of the stamina drain. Oh, get it. One thing I do like is I think you can proc Absolute Readiness before the full recoil of the weapon has worn off. There we go. Yeah, once stamina's fully drained, all the charge just drops right off of it, too. But likely, we'll probably have it enraged in just a little bit, so it'll get its charge back. Nope. Actually taken off to somewhere else. Okay, so we'll keep an eye on what direction it's heading and follow up right away. I think it's probably going to... Oh. Okay, it's actually going over this way. Ah, we're going to be greedy and get another one. Now, you little buggers. Like, literally, because that's a little swarm of thunder bugs. But truth be told, the shinies aren't super worth going for when it comes to Generations Ultimate. A lot of times they just give you like the large Wyvern tier, large Beast tier, etc. And those only like give you some extra points of like... Oh, poor Aptonoths are getting it a little bit. Yeah, I think he... Uh-oh. Sorry, little Aptonoth. Although it looks like it actually... Oh, it got out better than we did. Okay, what are you up to? Alright, gotta be careful about being on the edge of the area. Okay, so the head and the wings are both charged, so it's going to be able to do the slam twice. And I think it can do the sweep twice. Yeah. Yeah, Astalos is one that keeps you, I'd say, on your toes more so than Zinogre. Like, Zinogre, you can read its moves and know its combos pretty well. But Astalos just has the speed of how it deals its stuff out pretty quickly to really catch you by surprise sometimes, as well as the reach on certain moves, too. Okay. Wings got decharged. That was a bad placement, but... looks like our boy there is limping. So yeah, shouldn't have much health left to go. And I think we'll just pop a potion for a little extra heal and follow up. Okay, going up that... Really? Straight up that way. I was not expecting that, to be honest, because usually when it comes to the Marshlands, if monster's going to sleep, it usually comes to the area we're passing through here. Unless maybe we've screwed up its pattern because we fought it here before. But my guess is it'll just be back to where we first encountered it up here. Oh, no, it's... Honestly, didn't think that would be a nest for any monster, but you know what? It actually does serve as like a little nice spot. It'll make it easy for us to follow up with our shots. Oh, shoot. I'm too close to the wall. Yeah, I figured that was coming. Nope, careful. Yeah, mind the way the lightning goes, because it does like to do weird stuff like that. And one thing I do really like about the elemental shots, too, is you don't have to worry about the critical distance. They have a very wide range, or I shouldn't say wide, but very far-reaching range. And do a fair bit of damage no matter when they contact the monster. There is like a point of absolutely no damage where the shots won't connect, but I think they are better reaching than range, or than piercing shots even are. It's just that you generally have more finite amount of elemental shots than you do piercing. And that was Astalos taken down. Eventually we'll go down to the just supercharged Bolt Reaver version of the Deviants, but that'll be a while off still. And yeah, we'll go and compare. What I think the Tabula Blizzard has is it's only 336 raw and 20% affinity, which does couple well if you do need to rely on the Pierce 1 rapid fire. But if you are building for more element focus, I think Jowl Crusher has it beat. That and the recoil was much easier to use and work around for this bowgun than it was the Tabula. But we'll head back and have to figure out what I want to try for another build. I would like to sprinkle in more elemental type light bowguns if I can, just because otherwise it'd be piercing, 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 piercing repeatedly. That's just the high rank gem, so that's not really all that good. But we'll send everything off to the box. Send those off. And another monster hunted. So maybe what we'll do is we'll take a Yeah, we'll take a quick look at the Tabular Blizzard, and I'll see if there's another element type I want to go after. Once we do get towards the G4 stuff, I'll likely be much more heavily to Pierce, so maybe this is where I'll sprinkle in more and mix up the element types we use. Because eventually it's just going to come down to Pierce and Adept or Pierce and Valor style, and I'd like to keep a little bit more variety, even if it is just like using the weapon that I main for it. But yeah, here's the difference there. As you can see, it is 10 raw difference, 20% affinity difference. Now, if I could get crit element onto the Tabula Blizzara, I thought it was just Blizzard, but it seems to be Blizzara, I might be able to get more out of that, but I think it'd be hard building for that, as well as that recoil is much more difficult to work around. Although, it is weird. It says the recoil is about the same for the two, but the Tabula, maybe because... I guess because we were using both the Freeze and Pierce Freeze, that's why it had such the high recoils. I'd probably stick to the Jowl Crushers. If you need a Freezing Light Bowgun, that's the one to go for. I know there's others, like Kushala Deora has one, but that one I think is more just Freeze 1 and has Rapid Fire normal 2. So you have some options. I don't know if there is one like super best compared to others, but I've just found like generally for Element Light Bowguns, the highest raw damage is probably your best bet, unless you can get crit element onto a build too, and then that helps a long way. But for now, we should be good to wrap things up and end today's episode here. So thank you all very much for joining me on this episode of our Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate, the G-Rank Hunt series. If you did like the video, be sure to give it a like, and if you have any comments, tips, or tricks, be sure to leave in the comments right down below. Until I see you all next video or episode, Hunters and Survivors, please remember, as always, to take care, stay alive, and happy hunting.